Boom, we are live. Welcome everybody to my first live stream. I have live streamed in the past on other channels, but this is my first time doing it here on Chris Talks IRL, which stands for in real life. So I don't expect anybody's going to be up at 10:30 watching me live stream. The analytics that I see on the back end tell me that pretty much nobody's watching this late at night, and that is totally okay. But I do want to create content that I hope you find valuable. And recently I did a poll, right? I was curious because I want to get to know you guys better. I want to create relationships and friendships. I want to add value by telling real life stories and sharing my real life experiences. And I'm older, right? I'm 48 years old. I'll be 49 coming up here in July. And that means I'm damn near 50. So if I live to 100, which is probably not going to happen, well, then I am officially at the halfway point. So I'm playing on the back nine. And I want to contribute value. So in this poll, which I'll share here, I learned some very valuable information, which I will share with you. And so first and foremost, I want to thank everybody. The fact that we have 622 friends, tribe, family, subscribers, however you want to call it. The fact that there are so many of you out there from all over the country, all over the world, men and women, of all different age groups. To me is an enormous blessing. I am super thankful for you guys being interested, being concerned, being so compassionate and caring. I've shared a lot of what I've been struggling with here recently, and I realized I've got a lot more that I can also share. So I asked the question, which I hope you can see. I hope this is streaming the right way. There he is, Kevin, 24/7 in the house. What's up, bro? Kevin is one of my very good friends. He is in Destin. He, believe it or not, found me on YouTube. And unlike most people who I've learned that a lot of people just are viewers, they'll never comment. Sometimes you'll have lots of people that will leave comments, and those comments can be very tricky. They can be very aggressive. They can be very trollish. They can be very negative. They can be whatever they can be. But every once in a while, you meet a unicorn, someone who actually wants to connect and meet with you or become your friend. And with Kevin, I was so impressed with the questions that he was asking on the comments. Quickly, that developed into emails. Quickly, that developed into some phone calls. And quickly, that developed into us becoming really good friends. And him, his wife, Michelle, his brother Ron, all-star human beings. You should definitely check out their channels. And I'm sure at some point I'll have them on here because they're just incredible people, and they've got a lot of value to offer. Now, I realize what I shared is not really optimal, so I'm going to change the way it can be seen. But I asked you guys some questions. Which would you prefer to have a conversation about? And based on the topics that I've talked about previously, I made some suggestions, right? Faith, recovery, current events, health and fitness, relationships. And well, there's not a huge data set here. There's not a huge sample size. The overwhelming majority of you seem to want to speak or have conversations about health and fitness. And I'll be real honest with you. I had some limiting beliefs about whether I am qualified to even talk about health and fitness. I'm certainly not a fitness influencer. I'm certainly not young. That's one of these people who's going to go into the gym and film every weightlifting session that I do. That's not my style. I don't think I'll do that anytime soon. But who knows? I might. I never say no to what might happen in the future. But the overwhelming majority wanted to talk about health and fitness. And so, with that, the results of that, I thought a little bit, and I realized that I do have lots of stories that I can share. But the one that stood out that I think might have the most value the one that I feel comfortable doing publicly and not in the membership site, which will be available soon if it's not already, very reasonably priced. I'd love for you to be a member. I'd love if you'd like to support the channel by buying me a coffee. The link is down below in the description. But again, no sales pressure. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I'm going to continue to do this for free no matter what, because I enjoy doing it. And I forgot how much fun I have sharing my stories and connecting with people just like you. I hope to make more friends. I hope to build a community. I hope to have some fun here. But this video is going to be the health mistake that I made during my wife's pregnancy, which almost destroyed me. Now, that may seem like a dramatic title, but it was a dramatic decision, which I really didn't understand what I was saying yes to. But let me get off this stream, and hopefully that is working correctly. I don't know if it's working correctly or not, but being that it's just me and Kevin on here, we'll deal with it. My live streaming skills will get better over time. But to give you some background, right? I've always been athletic. I've always been interested in health and fitness. Most of my youth was playing sports. So when I was young, I played soccer, football, tennis, track, you name it, I played it. I swam. For a period of time, I was on a diving team. I was the only person at a very young age to have the balls to do a flip off of the Olympic size high dive. And my form was terrible. But when I got up there, I realized I was the only one who packed the gear to actually not be afraid to do that flip. I almost killed myself. It was probably mostly a belly flop. But because I had the audacity to do it, I ended up winning whatever that medal was, or gold star was. But I definitely got some juice with the team for having the balls to do so. And right now, so I'm giving you a little bit of background on my, I guess, pedigree, right? I was never an all-star athlete. I was never going to be in the NFL. I was never going to be a professional player in any sport. But I was above average in most sports, and I'll get into that a little bit. But that's how I grew up. I was very active. I was very athletic. I was always on the move. I was always very high energy. And today, I meet people all the time that are in my age bracket or older, maybe they're even younger, who seem to me like they've given up on their on themselves. They seem to me like they've given up on their health and fitness completely. And when I talk to them, they share with me that they're either afraid to get back into it, they're afraid to go to the gym, they're intimidated by the gym, they're intimidated to get started. They've got all kinds of limiting beliefs as to why they cannot get into action and start getting a little bit more healthy. And I understand the marketing out there, the social media out there. I mean, there's a lot of content creators out there that, I mean, if you see some of these women out there, they're dressed up incredibly. There are very sexy people that are putting out content. And if that was the truth of every gym or every place I went to exercise, I could see why a lot of folks would be intimidated by that. That is not that does exist, obviously, but that is not the norm. That is not the way it is everywhere. And I have found that most gyms are extremely accommodating to everybody. They want you to be in shape. They want you to achieve your fitness goals. And there are plenty of really good gyms, really good trainers out there. And if you're in Florida and want information or want a referral to someone that I know, like, and trust that's in the industry, I'm happy to make that connection. But before I talk too long without getting into the story, let's get back into the health mistake I made during my wife's pregnancy, which almost destroyed me. So before I can get into that, I must share how I met my wife, or soon to be ex-wife. And again, I'm not going to say anything bad about my wife. If I had not met her this way, then all of the blessings and all the miracles that were produced from our marriage never would have happened. But The reality of it is, I was a member of a gym called Evolution Fitness, which is in West Boca Raton, and I was friends with the owner. He and I went to high school together. He is a former Marine. He had built out this incredible gym, incredible membership, really good culture. But they were outdoor boot camp workouts, and one of the things that they offered was a 90-day challenge. And in this 90-day challenge, you had to commit to coming to a certain amount of workouts per week. What I found is that many of the same people attend classes at the same time. So it became almost like, I don't know, school or like high school in some ways. You develop friendships and relationships with the people that you work out with on a regular basis. And so I was really consistent with that. And also part of that program was that I think it was a biweekly basis, you would go in, you would be measured, you'd have your biometrics checked, and you'd get a progress report as to what exactly happened in that time period, right? Over the course of 90 days. They also offered, I'm sure they offered a bunch of stuff that I ignored, but I was very consistent in this program. And at one of the weigh-ins, I was blown away and thunderstruck when I saw what would be my wife in the future weighing in. And I was just blown away. She was a complete bombshell. And she went on to win the contest for that 90-day challenge. I think she went on to win a few more. But I couldn't have been more impressed with her. I couldn't have been more impressed with her work ethic. I couldn't have been more impressed with her consistency and her tenacity and her will to win. She wanted to win those contests, and she did. And eventually I won her over too, but that's a different story because if you've watched any of my content at all, you know that we are no longer together and on the road to divorce. But thankfully, we are managing that as good as we possibly can. And thus far, I would say we're doing a great job of being co-parents. But none of that has to do with what we were talking about, which is the health mistake that I made during my wife's pregnancy, which almost destroyed me. So as we learned, and I'm fast forwarding a bit here because I don't want this to be too long, but as we learned that she was pregnant, and I learned that I was going to be a father for the first time, I could not have been more excited about anything in the world. When she told me that we were going to be having a daughter, I honestly thought I was going to jump through the roof. I felt like I was walking on air. It was the most exciting, most spectacular, miraculous news I had ever heard. And instantly, when hearing that news, something within me internally immediately changed. And that changed a lot more after my first daughter was born. But the gift of that was I really had a very different outlook and attitude about life because I'm now going to be a father and I must be responsible. And now I'm going to have a family that I've got to provide for. So I went from being kind of like a Pied Piper in the stock brokerage industry, the guy with the corner glass office that had a boardroom of minions that did my bidding. And while it was a lot of fun, it definitely was not going to be conducive to me being the father that I wanted to be. Again, more background information that you probably don't need as far as the story is concerned, but I can't help myself. So that led to she's pregnant. I'm excited. We're doing all the things and I'm all in, right? I am 100% invested in doing everything I possibly can to make her pregnancy be as stress-free and easy as possible. And I worked hard at that, right? So I really bent over backwards to accommodate her in every way. And if you have ever experienced having a child with a woman, you know that there are lots of hormonal things that happen and lots of mood swings that are going to be just normal and par for the course. But I was learning to ride a roller coaster that I had never ridden before. But I was all in. I was as loving and kind as I could possibly be, incredibly empathetic to her situation. And for a while, things were going great, right? The doctor's appointments were always exciting. When we would see the pictures or the sonograms or whatever, it was extremely exciting. And the anticipation of the big day just continued to mount and grow, and I couldn't wait for it. Neither could she. But a few months into the pregnancy, it was pretty clear that she was having difficulties that were way above my pay grade. Now, I am not a doctor. I'm certainly not an OBGYN. Um, I sell real estate for a living. I was a stockbroker for 20 years. There are lots of things that I do know, but being pregnant or how to handle pregnancy or any of the things that go along with that, you might as well be speaking Chinese. I have no idea. But she was a labor and delivery nurse and had done that for, at that point, I don't know, 5, 7, 10 years, whatever it was. But the gift of that is she knows a lot about pregnancy. The curse about that is she also knows every possible complication that could ever happen. And I think it's probably really easy if you have all that information in your head to go to doomsday scenarios very quickly. And that's got to be challenging, right? I know it was challenging for her. It was certainly challenging for me because I never go to the worst case scenario. I always go to the solution. And I've also learned that providing solutions for someone who doesn't want them is never a winning strategy. But I learned. But that takes me to she's starting to develop some issues, right? And she self diagnosed herself with having a condition called preeclampsia. And I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. I had no idea what that was. Again, these are not things that I am familiar with. I Googled it, I looked it up. Still, I can read, but I don't really know what that means. What we quickly learned at our next emergency doctor's appointment was that for the duration of the pregnancy, she would be on bed rest and she would be at high risk if she exerted herself or stressed herself in any real capacity. So that's obviously not fun. I was certainly very empathetic and sympathetic to that, but I certainly had no interest in putting myself on bed rest because my lifestyle and my mindset has always been one of discipline. It's always been one that's fairly consistent in terms of exercise, health, and fitness, and a regime. At the time, I was always training for something, whether it's a marathon, a half marathon, an iron distance triathlon, a long swim, you name it. I was signing up for it. I was probably looking for ways to validate to myself that I wasn't getting old, but I was. But that's who I am, right? Like I know that I need to be active. I know I need to blow off steam. I know that exercise for me is therapeutic, and so the idea that I would give that up was a foreign idea. But I also recognized that what we were going through was going to be a challenge. And although we had both had that same mindset up until that point, we had always been a team. We had always done everything together. We had worked out together. We were almost in synchronicity on everything. I made the decision that during her bed rest, I too would join her in bed rest. I would not exercise if she could not exercise. I didn't think it was fair. So I signed up for um, being her teammate. I decided it's all for one, one for all. And once I realized that this was real and she was not able to do those things anymore, well, then I also decided I wouldn't do them either. And that was the start of a very, very difficult period for probably both of us. But what happened was we got and I don't want to actually, I'm not talking about her. She was doing what she needed to do for herself and for the health of the baby. I was doing what I thought was best for her and myself and the baby. But what that really turned into was me eating way more than I ever had. It was me indulging in whatever the things that she wanted to eat, also, which was typically not what my disciplined diet would be. And we ended up really kind of being in bed for a long period of time and ordering a whole lot of delivery dudes. So my diet went to shit. I stopped exercising completely. And while I thought I was doing this in the best interest of everyone, I did not realize how badly I was starting to harm myself mentally, physically, spiritually. But I was committed to my word. I am very loyal. If I say I'm going to do something, I intend to do it. And so it was all for one, one for all. And that's what we did. And we did that for probably anywhere from 5 to 6 months. Now, you might be shocked to learn that if you overindulge and you take in an additional, I don't know, 3 to 5 thousand calories a night because you're indulging in ice cream and burger fi and pizza and Chinese food and God knows what. Um, if you're eating that type of calorie intake and you're not burning it off like I used to, well, chances are you're going to get fat real quickly. And you could not imagine the surprise that I felt the first time I got on the scale about a month into this project and realized I had put on 25 pounds. I didn't think I looked like I put on 25 pounds, but I did. By the time my daughter was born, I had put on over 50 pounds. And as soon as she was born, I let my wife know that I was very happy that we did this. However, I am officially out of this program. Starting today, I will be getting back into dedicating myself to reclaiming my health and fitness. But because I was so fat, because I was so overweight, and because I felt so out of shape, I went to the doctor first to ensure that everything was fine. And what I came to learn is that it wasn't fine. My cholesterol was through the roof. Um, the arthritis that I have in my body, which really wasn't something that had bothered me much in the past, but all of my joints were inflamed. I was constantly sore. My muscles were deconditioned. I was fat. None of my clothes fit. It was frankly, it was a little bit humiliating. Like it's a big ego check when you go to put on your jeans and they don't fit, or you go to put on a suit and it doesn't fit, and you realize that you either have to get new clothes or get them tailored. But I had turned into a version of myself that I didn't recognize, and my confidence took a hit. Right, I did something for the betterment of the family, or what I thought was best for the family, but I didn't put the oxygen mask on myself first. Instead, I did what I thought was right. And there were direct health consequences to this. Again, blood pressure through the roof, cholesterol through the roof. My BMI index was through the roof. I believe, according to that, I was morbidly obese at the time. Should be noted, if I jump on a BMI indicator now, although I'm probably hovering somewhere around 10 to 12 body fat percentage, I still show up as a BMI of being obese. It's BMI, and that whole index is not exactly accurate if you're in shape and athletic and carrying a lot of muscle, but that's a side story. All I know is I got proof positive that I'm out of shape, I'm unhealthy. Um, my resting heart rate, which had been very low because I had done lots of cardiovascular training most of my life, had gone from something like a resting heart rate in the low 40s to in the 70s. Clearly, my heart was being deconditioned. I was cardiovascularly out of shape. And though I knew immediately that I was going to take action, I wanted to know where I stood. I wanted to make sure the doctor gave me the green light to do what I needed to. And he suggested that I do that. Get back into your old routine. Start monitoring your diet. Start creating a calorie deficit. Track what you eat. And so I did all those things. But the mistake that I made, in addition to all of those other bad choices that I made, was when I got back into the gym, when I got back into the Evolution Fitness gym where we met and where I knew everyone. I made the mistake of thinking I was still in the same shape that I used to be. And so when we would do competitive events or races or whatever it might be, I would always push myself as hard as I possibly could. But previously, I would either win those events or be in the top two, worst case scenario, top three. And that wasn't the case anymore. But I still attacked it as aggressively as I did in the past, which meant on my first class back, as we were doing a race and I turned a corner on the track, I tore my meniscus. And so now, not only am I fat and out of shape and all of these other health ramifications, but now I've got a torn meniscus in my knee, which is going to set me back even further. So I share that because I think lots of folks who go back into the gym, um, and many people that I know who previously were athletes or previously were in shape, they get back into the gym, they go buck wild, they try to replicate what they used to be able to do, and they find themselves with an injury very quickly. And I don't want anybody to get injured. So thankfully, I did not require surgery. I was able to do some non-surgical treatments, which mended the meniscus, and I got a clean bill of health. And from there, I got smarter. I started to listen to my body. I started to get more disciplined. I created a calorie deficit, and I did the work to ensure that I lost the weight. Now, I won't go into, I mean, I'm already 27 minutes into this. I don't want it to be too long. If you do like this content and you want to learn more about some of the other things that I've done, I can get extremely granular in terms of dieting, in terms of exercise programs, in terms of really anything you want to know in the health and fitness space. No, I am not a certified trainer or anything like that, but I am in the best shape of my life. I had my hip replaced many years after that whole incident that I referenced. But when I got that hip replacement, which was debilitating, the pain was so bad that I wanted to die. The doctor told me that I would never be able to run again. I would never be able to play with my kids the way I want to again. I would never really be able to be mobile or active again. And none of that was true, right? In fact, when I went back to see him for my follow-up checkup, he asked me what I had done recently to rehab the injury. And he gave me, I followed all of his directions. I went very slow, but I let him know that I had walked 20 miles the previous day. And his jaw almost hit the floor. He means, no, you must have walked 20 miles last week. I said, no, I walked 20 miles yesterday. He then told me I probably never have to see him again. A month later, I let him know that I swam the Chesapeake Bay race or Chesapeake Bay swim. It's close to a 5-mile swim across the Chesapeake Bay. There's insane currents. It's a very competitive thing. If you don't hit certain time thresholds, they pull you out of the water. If the current pulls you out of the lane, they take you out of the water. Not everybody finishes the race, but I was very pleased with myself that I did complete the race. And again, it was just a little bit of momentum. It was a small win, and it let me know that I could do anything that I set my mind to. So I know there are lots of middle-aged folks. Oh, we got Kevin over here. I know I'm not getting my IFBB Pro card anytime soon, so I just go to the gym to have a good excuse to wear tights. Let me just tell you, if you've never seen Kevin wear his short booty short tights, you're missing out because, well, I don't want to blow up his spot. it may or may not be factually true that he will highlight all of that on his private OnlyFans account. So you're definitely going to want to check that out. And no, I'm not serious. He does not have a OnlyFans account. But if you're looking for pictures of him in tights, please go to his channel and request it. Tell him I sent you. That will be hilarious. And he probably will do it. Also ask about his ball scrubbing solution that he uses. It's incredible. I've been using it for years. It's some of the best ball scrubbing you could ever get out there. All right, where was I going with this? I'm wrapping this up. My point here is there are lots of folks that I beat in the gym. And I always make it a point when I am in the gym or really anywhere, when I see someone who is overweight, when I see someone who is clearly new to the gym, when I see somebody who looks like they're lost, and they're typically older people, I always go out of my way to introduce myself. Always go out of my way to make them feel welcome. I always encourage them that they're on the right track. And in many instances, we get into conversations about their story, my story, and I do my best to plant a seed of hope in them because I know that anybody can have a major transformation if they want to, right? It starts with making a decision. So just know if you're not where you want to be with your health and fitness, well, it's okay. There's lots of people who aren't, but please do not let the fear of the unknown or the fear of the gym or whatever anxiety or self-consciousness you may feel, do not allow that to dominate your life, because on the other side of that is incredible confidence, incredible health and fitness, incredible strength mentally, physically, spiritually. And I want everybody to have that. Physical exercise, health and fitness is the one of the cornerstones of my life. And I hope to be able to have a very lengthy, active life where I don't want to be one of these people who can't walk or can't sit down and needs assistance or any of that stuff. I want to be vibrant and active until the day I die. And I want the same for you if that's what you want for yourself. So that's it. If nobody's told you that they love you today, just know that I do. If I can ever help in any way, then please feel free to reach out, subscribe, like the video, leave a comment down below, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video.